Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome back to my video. In this video, I will continue the material about CDA in the 11 meeting. Let's get started. I will share the material for you. Okay. Okay, everyone. As usual, before we really start the material, actually, in the materials will continue from the previous video in Attend Meeting about Van Dijk socio-cognitive model ya. Um, so let's begin first by me explaining the vision of Universitas Latan Samashiro menjadi universitas yang unggul, berdaya saing global, berjiwa entrepreneurship, berlandaskan akhlakul kalimah, and the vision of Faculty of Teacher Training and Education menjadi fakultas keguruan dan ilmu pendidikan yang unggul pada penyiapan bahan ajar berbasis digital dan edupreneur yang dapat berdaya saing global dijiwai akhlakul karimah. And our English Education Study Program Vision menjadi program studi pendidikan bahasa Inggris yang unggul pada penyiapan bahan ajar berbasis digital dengan pendekatan kearifan lokal serta edupreneur yang memiliki daya saing global dijiwai akhlakul karimah. Okay, everyone, and then I will read one Quran Surah Al-Alaq, verse 1 to 5. Read in the name of all your Lord, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who created man from a clinging substance. Read, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man that which he knew not. Okay, this Quran Surah Al-Alaq, verse 1 to 5, talk about the revelation received by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The first command is about the read, ya, Iqra. This emphasizes that seeking knowledge is a fundamental act of worship and human development. The verses highlight three important principles. The first, knowledge begins with inquiry. Humans are encouraged to read, observe, question, and understand the world around them. And then the second one, language and writing are powerful tools. The phrase who taught by the pen emphasize the importance of literacy, communication, and the transmission of knowledge through text. And the third one, learning is a continuous process. The first reminds us that human beings are born without knowledge and continuously learn through reflection, education, and critical engagement with information. So if we summarize all this Quran Surah Al-Alaq, verse 1 to 5, the first command revealed in Islam wasn't belief or worship, but it's about read, ya, Iqra. This highlighting the central role of knowledge, literacy, and critical understanding in human development. And the connection between this Quran Surah Al-Alaq, verse 1 to 5, to our critical discourse analysis in language education, are particularly relevant to this that's encourage learners to read critically rather than passively, examine hidden meanings in text, question assumption and ideologies, develop awareness of how language shapes knowledge and society, and use literacy as a tool for empowerment and social justice. Okay, and for the learning objective here, by the end of this session, student will be able to explain the principles of critical discourse analysis, describe Van Dijk socio-cognitive model that we will continue in this video, yeah. Identify relationship among discourse, cognition, and society. Analyze educational texts using Fanjik framework and critically evaluate hidden ideologies in language education. Okay. Actually, I will just continue the last what we talk about the socio-cognitive triangle, yeah. Okay. The last time we talk about this one, yeah. The correlation, the connection between the three of aspect here by Fanjik, yeah. Society, cognition, and discourse, yeah. Discourse, society, and cognition. And let's hear the key concept of social cognition, yeah. This is the bridge between society and discourse, social cognition. Social cognition refers to the shared mental models, belief, knowledge, and ideological frameworks that guide how people understand the world and use language. Social cognition is the many ways in which social structures and processes are represented in the minds of social actors. This is what Van Dijk said, yeah. So in a simple term, we can say that it is how we think about ourselves, others, and world based on our experiences, culture, values, and ideologies. That is all about the social cognition. So in here, the example of social cognition, it can be categorized into five, yeah. The first one is a stereotypes. These stereotypes generalize belief about certain groups. For example, all foreigners are lazy. Or, for example, I will give you the example of the local culture, and this is a bit familiar and um, famous, yeah, in Indonesia that Javanese people, yeah, the society coming from the Java tribe, yeah, Javanese people is common that these people from Javanese is diligent, yeah, among the others tribes in Indonesia, yeah. That's why Japanese people is always when they go in a different island or in a different province, they will famous with diligently, yeah, and hardworking. Okay, this is what we call it a stereotypes in society circle, yeah. And then for the ideologies, this is the system of belief about what is right, normal, or superior. For example, there is a meritocracy, patriotism, a feminism, yeah. There are so many things, even Islamization, yeah, in our global and global society, yeah, or even in the local society. Ideologies can be anything, yeah. And share knowledge. This knowledge that is commonly held and understood in a group, yeah. For example, cultural norms, social rules. This is what share knowledge among the certain groups in a society. And cultural assumption deeply roots beliefs about gender roles, status, education, religion, and nationality. Um, It is a bit what is it? Is it a bit common, yeah? In Asia, especially, that some of the countries in Asia, especially also in our country in Indonesia, still have this culture, yeah, about the gender roles, like as this, I think a bit colonial, yeah. Since that colonial, that's why it's still circling in our today's life. But I think it now it's a bit there is a what is it in English, a pergeseran, ya. Um, that's it's about the gender roles, like when females, like a mother, sisters, yeah, or a daughter, they always coming to the kitchen like that. As a female, as a woman, we have to understand better than a man or a boy about something like a household. Yeah, this is something a gender roles that happen in a colonialism. Yeah, and it still become the cultural assumption among the people. Yeah, in a society. That's being a woman, we have to be common for, or we have to at least have a skill to cook something, yeah, for our family. And for the man, since it's coming from the Quran, that's man is always become at least a leader for his family. Yeah, that's why he have to provide benefits and give the money, providing the money for for his family. Yeah, like that. So that's why the gender roles here sometimes make what is it uh, divide between men and women, yeah, men and women roles about the household. But actually today there is um different roles between the genders, yeah. That's a man is also can cooking, yeah. Women is also can work and gain the money for the family, yeah. This is what happened today. And also for the education, religion, there is also the cultural assumption in the society, yeah, that we can discuss it, yeah. That's before the era Kartini, yeah, in Indonesia, only men can get the education. But after that, after the era Kartini declare the freedom for education for the women, and then all the women, Indonesian women, can have education until now. Yeah, even today, a professor, a doctor degrees is already some of the female or women scholars is already have it, yeah, not only a man. This is what happened about the cultural assumption. And then for the mental models, internal representation that help us make sense of event and guide our action. So this coming from our cognition about the mental model, yeah. This is more like an internal representation that we feel, yeah, about ourselves into the society. Yeah, that's sometimes some of the event in our life created or influenced by others, yeah. It can be from the a close friend, even from the family, or even in the field work, yeah, or in the classroom, it can be, yeah. That's also make our mental model for guiding something our action. I will give you the example, yeah, here for make it a sense, yeah. For example, when there is a regulation in the a school, yeah, in an institution, say that a student have to graduate with a higher score, at least in the minimum is 80, yeah. So uh all the students will try to uh achieve this goal, yeah, to get the 80 score. So they will do the action like try to learn harder, try to get even more a higher score than the 80 to make they will fulfill the regulation, yeah, something like that. But that's only a piece of example, yeah. There are a lot of example, another example, yeah, about the mental models. That sometimes this achievement make the students is get the anxiety maybe and afraid of being fail, something like that, yeah. So, why it matters in CDA, it explains why people produce and interpret discourse in a certain ways. It reveals hidden belief and ideologies behind language use. It helps us understand how power, prejudice, and inequality are maintained through discourse. We don't only talk about the word, we talk from our understanding of the word, and that understanding is shaped socially. This is the quotation from the Fanchik, yeah. And let's think about it, yeah. When you read a text or hear someone speak, what assumption, belief, or values might be influencing the message? Because sometimes when we heard someone speaking, especially when this someone is like a leader of a certain institution or a famous singer or even a president said something, maybe there is a assumption, belief, and values that's created inside the information that they speak here that we can critically analyze, yeah. Okay. And then, okay, so let's see the three level of analysis of this point of view from the Van Dijk, yeah, about the social cognitive model, yeah. Let's see from the discourse structure how to analyze. What is said in this discourse structure focus on the text or talks itself. How is the message constructed in language? It can be a macro structure, global meaning or topic, superstructure, organization of the text, microstructure, sentence, word choice, rhetoric, and style. Actually, this a bit similar, yeah, with the three-dimensional analysis CDA from Fireglow, yeah. That Fireglow said there is a micro level, meso level, and micro level. But Van Dijk said there is a macro structure, superstructure, and microstructure. Okay, but it's a bit similar, yeah. The content is. So what we can be analyzed in a discourse structure here. For example, we can take from the news article, classroom talks, textbook text, or policy document. Yeah. And for the cognitive structure, what we analyze in the cognitive structure focus on the mental models, belief, knowledge, and ideologies shared by individuals or groups. So in the content, it should be belief and values, ideologies, stereotypes, shared knowledge, and attitudes. As for the social structure, what we going to analyze here, it focus on the broader social context in which discourse is produced and interpreted. Yeah. It can be from the institution, school, media, or government, power relation, ideologies and social norms, social inequality and dominance. This is what happened in social structure. Okay. And for the example of cognitive structure, because it's always coming from the uh, personal or per individual, yeah. So believe that native speakers are more competent English users. It's something like that, yeah. And for the social structure, education system that promotes English dominance and marginalize local language. This is something ideologies or social norms that coming from the social structure. So the big picture here is that discourse is produced and understood through the interaction between discourse, cognition, and society. And one quotation from the Van Dijk, yeah, social structure influence discourse through social cognition, and discourse is then reproduced and sometimes challenges those social structures. So if we see the three of element or three level analysis here, that's nearly a close is between the cognitive structure and social structure, yeah, because sometimes the cognitive structure from one person or in a certain group can become the social structure itself, or the social structures that already happen can influence the cognitive structure of a person or a certain groups, yeah. As for the discourse structures, it's always talking about the discourse itself, yeah. It's an analysis in the level of linguistic, yeah. Okay, and then how the three levels work together. Let's look at the example here. Yeah, how the three level of Van Dijk model work together in analyzing news headlines. Yeah. Look at this, the example of the headline news: official crackdown on illegal immigrants. Yeah, this is always become the hot news. Yeah, about the illegal immigrant around the world. Yeah. Okay, let's try to analyze with the three level of Van Dijk models. Yeah. First one, let's analyze using the discourse structure. What it said in here, the focus on the text itself, yeah, when it coming from the discourse structure. We can see, we can analyze from the word choice. Like a crackdown here, this is suggests a strong and negative action, yeah. Because there is something crack, but it's down, yeah, not up, but it's down. So this is a negative action. And as for the actor emphasize, there is this official, yeah, this is the active versus illegal immigrant. You know, the official immigrant and illegal immigrant, it's something rather than um what is it? A different ya. In bahasa it's a bertolak belakang ya between the official and the illegal. And information order action crackdown is highlight before reasons or context ya. Crackdown on illegal immigrants. So the interpretation here is the wording frames immigrants as a problem and official as the solution here. Yeah. Illegal immigrant here as the uh, problem, as the issues, and the official is as the solution. And in the cognitive structure here, what is taught focuses on mental models, belief, and ideologies. May reflect belief about law and order, may reinforce stereotypes about immigrants as a threat, based on shared knowledge and ideologies in society. This is what we can analyze in cognitive structures. What we analyze here, something like as a belief, yeah. Maybe there is a law or order about the immigrants, yeah. When these immigrants try to enter in another country, yeah. It should be another country has a different rules yeah about the immigrant, especially that this immigrant become illegal, yeah. They enter breakdowns the rules, yeah. And as for the reinforced stereotypes, the stereotypes is about the immigrant as the threat. Sometimes when foreign people coming to our country, that's it's not permitted, yeah, using some illegal lodging, yeah. This can be a threat for us as the uh, domestic, as the local people yeah, because we never know they will in as the invader to our country, or they will bring a benefit, or bring the worst something, because sometimes these immigrant moving from their country to another country, they has a reason yeah, and most of them that happen uh earlier, yeah, from another country. I can say from the Iran, Iraq, or Palestine, that these countries is under the uh under the invasion from another country, yeah, having a big what is it? Fight for freedom, yeah. So they try to search another countries that allow them to still alive, yeah. That's sometimes make stereotypes that's the immigrant as the threats, yeah. And as for the shared knowledge and ideologies in society also. So the interpretation here is the headlines draws on common assumption that illegal immigrants are a danger to society and must be controlled. That's why there is a strict rules for the immigrants, yeah, when they want to enter in a country. And then for the social structure here, from this headline, we can analyze focus on the wider social and political context. For example, produced in a context of immigration debate, reflect power relation, government, media, public opinion, supports certain ideologies, nationalism, security, border control, and also may influence public opinion and policy. So what we are thinking critically in the cognitive structure, it can be moved to a bigger or in a broader issues in the social structure, yeah. That's why the interpretation here is the headlines support dominant discourses about immigration and helps maintain power and social control. So, um, why this matter in CDA? It's help us uncover hidden meanings, help us understand how language shapes our thought and society, help us become critical and responsible readers and citizens. And as for the summary, Thank you so much for everything, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.